around Mardi Gras.
Upset neighbors inundate the Fox8 defenders with calls and emails about recent water rate hikes.
Tonight, the president of Magnolia Water explains what's behind the increases while admitting the company could have handled the situation better. Here's our latest Fox8 defenders investigation.
Well, Meg, I really appreciate what you're doing on your side.
Slide-out resident Daniel Fredericks is meticulous with his finances.
I keep all my bills in a spreadsheet.
That's why he says he was caught off guard when his Magnolia water and sewer bill arrived on November 7th. The amount due, $122, up from the usual $41 a month.
What really increased it was they jumped up the sewer charge. They used to charge me 120% of whatever my water bill was. They jumped the sewage rate to $63.31 as a flat rate.
In the Eden Isles neighborhood,
we're captive, and for them to go from like $25 a month to $125 a month is a big leap.
Naomi Hess's bill also increased.
I really think something needs to be done. It needs to be looked into.
In recent weeks, the Fox8 defenders received dozens of calls and emails from neighbors upset about how much they're being asked to pay. Thibodeau resident Deborah Guidry stands in that number.
We got a huge increase of 300% of $63.31. It was $20 before that.
Magnolia provides sewer services to Guidry's neighborhood. She gets her water from Terrebonne Parish.
We did get a letter in the mail saying that there would be a slight increase. Slight is 2%, $5, something to that extent, but not triple the bill.
Magnolia's website says customers are always notified first by the utility when a rate increase is sought.
They sent a flyer out that said that there was going to be an adjustment, and so they didn't say how much that adjustment was going to be.
But the rate communication, we definitely could have done better.
Josiah Cox is president of Magnolia Water. We contacted him with residents' concerns. So you admit there was a problem with that. What could have been handled better? I mean, what needed to be laid out in that letter?
Yeah, the specific, because every community, depending on where you were at, how long you've been a Magnolia customer, really determine what your rate increase was, what your type of treatment system determines what your rate increase would have been. So it should have been targeted on a community specific level.
Lay out exactly how much more people would be paying and for how long?
Yes, that's right. That's right.
As for why people are paying more?
Really, it's because these systems are decades old and they've not been reinvested in. And the Clean Water Act's an increasingly more stringent act over time. So it means a wastewater plant you built 30 years ago no longer meets modern EPA requirements.
Cox says when Magnolia took over around 300 water and sewer systems in Louisiana a few years ago, they were all in desperate need of repair.
This infrastructure has been non-compliant for decades, oftentimes.
The state's Public Service Commission approved the rate hikes, which are allowed under federal law.
We file and say we believe this is what it should be, and then the Public Service Commission audits everything down to the invoice level. And then they come back and say, no, this is where we are going to allow the rates to be set.
While Cox admits the company should have been more forthright with homeowners about the increased costs, some people tell us they're just as angry with the PSC, which consists of elected officials.
My main concern is that the Public Service Commission is not protecting the captive consumer.
Have they been responsive to you, the Public Service Commission, when you try to call, email?
No, I have sent emails and never gotten a response.
We reached out to Commissioner Eric Scrametta, who represents St. Tammany Parish. We asked for an on-camera interview, but he never returned our call. We also asked for an on-camera interview with Commissioner Craig Green, who represents Terrebonne Parish. Instead, a member of his staff sent us a statement saying Green wasn't at the October PSC meeting when Magnolia's most recent rate hike was approved, adding he remains committed to working with all customers to ensure they receive reliable water and wastewater services at reasonable rates. For the neighbors we've spoken to, they say they understand the need for upgrades to their systems.
Yes, we do need improvements. We absolutely do. But we don't need to be taken to the bank over it.
But they feel the entire rate increase situation should have been handled better, and some worry about how they'll carry the additional cost.
I'm a single mom. It really is burdensome because when you set up a budget and you have so much allotted for each bill, it's a huge increase.
Magnolia President Josiah Cox tells us as the company grows and it finishes improvements on various water systems, costs will go down on the sewer side and balance out over the next few years. If you have a consumer issue you'd like us to look into, call the Fox 8 Defenders, staffed with volunteers from the National Council of Jewish Women, or fill out our online complaint form.